entertaining if you're a morning hiker. Watch the trains, they go by. But that's
Indian Railroad. At that time, he was paid a salary of 50 cents Here on the left is the Painter Farm. Now you probably have already figured out that this little stream here is not the Toccoa River. It is a tributary to the river though, and it's doing an unusual thing that the river also does. It is flowing northward. Most rivers in the northern hemisphere all around the world don't flow north. It happens here simply because we're going downhill all the way to the Tennessee line. And where this river starts at Suches, Georgia, is a much higher elevation. And then Blue Ridge is even still higher than the state line. So the water's just running downhill as it goes toward Tennessee. Now that we're underway, an hour. It's because there is a federal agency that sets speed limits for every section of rail throughout the entire country for every type of train. And this is a curvy section of tracks. So this section for passenger trains has a federal speed limit of 15 miles an hour. There are places you will see little signs that say 10, where we have to slow down because, well, for example, there is a major, for this trip it's major anyway, there is a actual highway crossing at a place called Curtis Switch coming up. And even though we're the only train on these tracks today, we still have to abide by that speed limit, which is not all that uncommon.
Is there a fence? Oh, good, there's a fence.
Black bears are not really very aggressive. They are likely to run from you quicker than you could run from them. The only exception to that would be if you see bear cubs. Don't go near bear cubs in the wild because wherever there are cubs, there is a very protective mama bear nearby, and they will attack to protect their cubs. Through a hydroelectric dam that forms Lake Blue Ridge just east of town. That dam was built in the 1930s by the Tennessee Valley Authority to provide electricity, and it is still used to produce electricity today. So the level of the water here downstream from the dam does fluctuate. I'll be able to tell when we pull up in this curve next to the river we're headed to. There's a large boulder there in the water, and if that boulder is visible, as it usually is, that means we're at normal water level. If the boulder is completely submerged, it means the water is high because they're generating electricity and have released extra water.
Good down this way. All right. Everybody doing good down here?
Just don't stick out an arm or lean out. It actually could hurt you. These girders are very close.
How many times did you go?
We are just about to begin crossing. Thank you. Feel free to move about now as you'd like. I didn't want anybody to be unnecessarily nervous about crossing it, so I did not tell you in advance. But that bridge is actually 117 years old. That's the truth. But we do safety checks. In fact, we do at least 2 every day that this train runs. And I'm very... You've already figured me out. I'm very pleased to report we just successfully completed today's first safety check successfully. Thank you for taking part.
Like a walking map. Walking map of town.
Oh, thank you.
Check the sidewalks to make sure people are on the way, and we wait for them if we see them. But if you're inside one of the businesses, we won't know. So remember, 10 minutes until 1. You can't come back earlier than that. Car 405, the car on the other side of the concession car, keeps its door open the entire time we're stopped here. So you can get on there and walk through 2 cars and be back here anytime you'd like. Now when we do come to a complete stop just ahead, I'll be back down at the end of the car where I boarded you this morning, or where you were boarded this morning, where I greeted most of you this morning inside the car. And as soon as the engineer gives us an all clear horn, I can open the door for you. So I'll do that just as quickly as possible. That direction that I'm about to walk is your quickest way out by far.
These. Look like these.
Big guys.
Well, they're climbing. Most of them are ducks. Yeah, all those are ducks. Except that's a raptors.
Duck butts. Goose butt. Hey, is that where Duck Duck Goose came from?
I don't know.
I think it is. That's funny. We just experienced where Duck Duck Goose came from. Did you hear those people next to us were discussing what was ducks and what was geese?
I was focused on the other part. I want a picture of trout. I don't see one. We'll find one. Flip his ass the fuck over so you find one. Paying attention.
gone down the middle.
Yeah, well, I
Oops, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Excuse me, excuse me. What?
It's so cool. Don't go. That's pretty cool. I think it's a marmot. It's a groundhog? Oh, thank you. That's not a groundhog. Groundhog!
Now, since I talked so much earlier about the state line, I should tell you the entire story. That is the state line in town where it is marked, but it was put there by mistake. In 1818, Georgia and Tennessee went together to hire a surveyor to mark the official state line. He was told to follow the 35th parallel of latitude, but he was a mile off in his measurements, and he put the state line 1 mile further south than that latitude line. That's where it remains today. Well, I know you're aware of how close these bridge girders are now. We just want you to know that the bridge is approaching. And remember that it is a much better day when we get back to Blue Ridge with just as many arms as we left with. Here we go. I really was not joking that this bridge is 117 years old. But when it was built, it was engineered to carry loaded freight trains. And even though this train is pretty heavy, and we don't weigh anything near what a loaded freight train weighs, I did ask our engineer once if he could estimate our weight. He said before we load with passengers, our 14 cars, which includes 2 engines, weighs a total of about 400 tons. That's 800,000 pounds. But only a very small amount of that is on the bridge at any one time because the train is almost a quarter of a mile long. When we get right beside the green deck and the fish trap, there will be an opening that will give you a time long enough to see it well or photograph it. There's the green deck, and you'll see as we go right beside it, there's a good view of the fish trap.
Oh, wow.
Now with the water fluctuation and boats going up and down the river when the water's higher, sometimes rocks get knocked off. And the local Boy Scout troop checks on that. Because it's a historic relic, if they find rocks that have been knocked off or have fallen off, they put them back in the correct position to maintain its historic integrity. To oversee trade, with the Native Americans in this area. It was a major training ground. And Galloway grew into an actual little town. It even had a U.S. post office. But in a few years, when the Trail of Tears happened and the Cherokee were forced out against their will, the trade dried up and the town dried up right along with it. And what you see right now, this little community, is all that's left of the town of Galloway. This next home that we're going to pass on the left side has been remodeled. It was the original train station for Galloway, Georgia. Now when that straightens out and goes out of sight, if you look behind us, you'll see all the way to the back edge. Yep, just as we get even with the boulder, you can see the view back behind us.
Jesus, the size of that dog. Huge.
Oh my gosh, that is a big dog. Like a Mastiff or something? Or a giant Labrador?
Snapchat spot.
Make Monday look a little small.
Probably. Yeah, well,
Across the Appalachians all the way to the state of Maine to the top of Mount Katahdin. You don't have to hike 2,000 miles though to enjoy Appalachian Trail scenery. There are many day hikes that utilize the Appalachian Trail for at least part of their distance. And they're very manageable short hikes. One that I can personally recommend if you're looking for great scenery is in the next county east of Blue Ridge, Fannin County. If you go on the 4-lane east to the next town called Blairsville and turn south or to the right in Blairsville, the highway going south will take you up an almost 4,500 foot mountain called Blood Mountain. Partway up, there is a parking lot for day hikers' use, specifically. You can leave your car there and take a short approach trail that will put you on the actual Appalachian Trail. On the way up the mountain, there is some incredible scenery. One spot where there's a clearing, on a clear day, you can see south all the way and make out the skyline of Atlanta. It's very tiny and very hazy, but it is definitely visible. I was amazed the first time I realized I was seeing Atlanta from the side of Blood Mountain. And if you saw this old porta potty this morning and thought, what an odd thing to be there, it's because it was never there for its original use. That's being used as a deer blind by deer hunters. Very conveniently came with a built-in seat.
what an interesting place to put your grill. It's like 100 yards away from your house. Hamburgers will be cold by the time you get back to your house.
Barking like a junkyard dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bigfoot Museum.
That's just an ad for it. It's right down 515.
But when we come to a stop in town, once again, I'll be down at the door we used before. I'll get that open just as soon as I get an all clear horn from the engineer. And wherever you're headed from here, I wish you safe travels, and again, thank you. And do be careful going down the steps. Don't get in a rush. Take your time.
Into it and hang out in it.
It's a very nice picture of your finger. I was like a dog.
Leaning like this.
What time is it? Well, you know,